This video is part 2 of my 4-part series, 20 Ways to Grow Your Photography Business in 2022. What's up everyone, Pete Coco here. Before we get started, you can watch part 1 of this series by clicking the link in the description below. There's going to be 2 more videos forthcoming for a total of 20 tips that are going to help you grow your photo business in 2022. Now these tips were made in collaboration with Lancaster-based headshot photographer Richard Wayne. Richard is one of the best in the business. He's a good friend and he's been a mentor to me, helped me to grow my own business. You can also find accompanying articles that will be posted on FSTOPPERS that basically say the same information, maybe with a little bit of a different twist. Make sure you check those out as well. And as usual, like, comment, subscribe to my channel. Let me know what you think of this video, and let's get started. Number 6 on our list is sanitize and prioritize your social media accounts. When I say sanitize your social media, what I mean by that is to make sure that the entire presentation you're giving the world of you fits your branding and is something that you are happy to share with people. There are a lot of simple ways to do this. Number 1, if you're a photographer, make sure the photos you're posting on Facebook and Instagram and anywhere else reflect your brand. Try not to post photos of yourself in positions that don't look good or where you just look like you're not with it, because potential clients will see that. Number 2, the easiest thing, right? Don't post politics. Anytime you engage in political talk and political fights online, you are ostracizing half of your potential clients, because about half and half of the politics goes one way or the other. It doesn't make sense business-wise, and by the way, you're not changing anyone's opinions ever, so just don't do it. Let someone else do that. Another thing to avoid is posting a lot of negative comments on forums. It doesn't make sense to post negativity. Remember that what you give, you get. So if you're out there posting and sharing negativity, even if you're just on a photo website and you're posting negatively about someone else's work, remember that that negativity is going to come back to you one way or another. It is much better for your own health, your own psyche, and your own life to just be positive. Post only positive things. Remember what you learned when you were little. If you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. And you're definitely losing business if you have a very negative online persona or if you're heavily political online one way or another. Now on to prioritizing social media. Well, by prioritizing social media, I mean just that. It must be a priority. Now you don't have to have every single social media there is, because if you did, it would be a full-time job to prioritize all of them. But what you do want to do is, with the social media accounts that you do use, you have to prioritize being regular at posting on them. People will connect with you and your business as they see you constantly posting stuff, not in an obnoxious way, just in a consistent way. Now, the most important thing, more important than your own posts, make sure you're engaging in other people's posts. So one of the weakest ways you can promote your business on, say, Facebook or on LinkedIn is by posting your own work and saying 10% off headshots or whatever it is, and trying just to get people to connect to really what is a thinly veiled advertisement. It's much better and much more effective to comment on other people's posts to engage with your community. This works really well on LinkedIn because you're connecting with, if you're using LinkedIn, you should be connecting with people in your area. And when you comment, even if it's not necessarily photography related, you're putting yourself into their sphere and you're putting your name on their minds. So when they do need photography, they will remember you. Now, when you do create your own posts, make sure that they add value to your reader. Posts that create and add value are posts that offer tips to them, or posts that share a positive story that a client had, or even a post that talks about your journey. People will respond and engage to a post like this so much more strongly than just posting your photos or your work and saying, I'm available this week if you need a photographer. One of the most engaging posts that I ever created was something I put on my Instagram page, and I was very honest and open about my struggles going from being a musician to now presenting myself as a photographer, and how I thought people would react and respond to that. And I just made I didn't go crazy in depth, but I just made a quick post about my thoughts and my feelings, and I just put a headshot of myself on the post. And this was one of my most engaged posts, and I actually got clients out of it because people read this and they related to it as they were going through similar things in life, and it just showed me as a person. So be genuine, be honest, and make sure you sanitize and prioritize your socials. Number 7, get referrals and testimonials. In the last video, we did talk about Google reviews, and this is one of the most important things you need to focus on getting. Almost every day I have a client call me and say, oh, I chose you because of your great reviews. So don't underestimate the positive reviews and how people are reading them and they're saying, oh, if this person had a great experience, if all these people had a great experience with this person, then I will too. As important as those Google reviews and testimonials, which by the way should also be on your website in some form, so don't forget to take some of those great reviews and testimonials and put them on your website. You also want to get referrals. Now, a referral is basically having someone you worked with refer you. There's a number of ways you can go about doing this. One simple way that I've done this is by connecting with some local acting schools. I worked with some clients from a local studio, and the client loved the photos, and the owner of the studio loved the photos, and then came in and had her photos taken, loved those photos, and now she recommends me to all of her students. So I have referrals constantly coming to me from there. Remember that every client you have is an opportunity to have a stream of clients based on their experience. So don't take that for granted. Go the extra mile. Make sure that from beginning to end, you're giving them 110% so that they want to refer you. People are not going to refer a company that they had an okay experience with. They're just not. Even if they had a great experience, it's just not human nature to promote someone else's business in general. So don't take for granted the fact that every client you have is the potential for a wonderful, positive experience that will get you referrals. I do recommend connecting with other local businesses like acting schools, modeling agencies, talent agencies. The more of these companies that you can connect with and provide value to, the more streams of constant referrals you'll get. If you are referred by someone, you barely have to even convince them to book with you. They're ready to book because their friend has already told them all about you. So the minute that person calls you on the phone or emails you, they already feel like they know you. There's nothing more positive than for a person to call someone who they've been recommended to and they know already they're gonna get great work. Number 8, your 30-second elevator pitch. Now I know this sounds sort of salesy, but there's a lot of truth in having a short, sweet description that you give whenever someone asks you about your business. When you're a photographer, this is hard to do because a lot of times, even if you're at a party and someone asks you, what do you do for a living? And you say, I'm a photographer. Well, that drums up all kinds of different thoughts in people's heads. It doesn't explain at all what you do. They might see you as a photojournalist. They might say, oh, you shoot weddings, or oh, do you take kid pictures? Whatever it is. So you must refine your own 30-second explanation of what you do, why you create value, why people should choose you. They call it an elevator pitch because the idea is, say you got in an elevator with a high-powered executive and you had 30 seconds in that elevator to convince them to use you for a project. What would you say? For me personally, as a headshot photographer, I like to talk with people about how everyone hates getting a headshot, but I have a proven system that makes the process easy from beginning to end and guarantees that you leave my studio with a headshot that you're gonna love and that you're gonna want to share. I provide my clients with photos that empower them and that engage the world around them. And that, in a nutshell, is kind of what I say. This is a lot more appealing than saying, I'm a headshot photographer. You want them to know why you're the best, why they should choose you. And again, this is not about telling them so much about you, it's about showing them why you can help them achieve their goals. So when I talk to people about my headshot business and what I do, it's always in the framing of why I'm going to help them to succeed. Definitely make sure it's client focused and make sure that it's branded across all of your materials. So your website should reflect the same thing as what you say to people on the phone, as what your emails tell people. You want a cohesive brand, so your elevator pitch is part of that. And that brings us to number 9, create a consistent brand. Being consistent and authentic in your branding and in what you do is important for every sized business. But it seems like a lot of small businesses don't even think about their branding and don't even think about how and if they're presenting a cohesive brand to their clients. Now, if we talk about big businesses, they know how to do this, and they're very consistent across the board of how they brand to their specific market and their specific customer. But this is equally important for us as entrepreneurs and small business owners. Now, I know I've said this in the previous video, but I don't believe it's wise to try and be a jack of all trades. So my recommendation is, as you create and refine your brand, make sure it's laser focused on what you want to be known for, what you provide to your clients, and who you are. If you don't know what your own brand is, don't expect anyone else to either, obviously. So if you don't know at this point, you want to take some time and figure out what your brand is. Now, this can evolve a little bit over time. For instance, in my case, I know that I'm a headshot and a portrait photographer. This is what I love to do, my favorite kind of work. But if I had to narrow that field, I prefer and love working with musicians and artists. So as I grow in my company, I'm gearing more towards those people. Those people are calling me, asking me for my services because they know that I can present and I can provide what they need as artists. And as you do it, it gets even more refined. But it's highly important that you create an authentic brand, that your brand reflects what you do, and that you don't try to be everything to everyone. Sometimes that means saying no to work. But if you say no to somebody's very inexpensive work you don't even want to do, that is actually freeing you up to get work that is going to inspire you and that's going to be more of what you want to be known for. Number 10, and this is a tough one, become self-motivated. One of the greatest challenges for a small business owner is staying motivated. If you don't have any clients today, that doesn't mean you should spend an hour on Facebook or Instagram scrolling through photos. That doesn't mean you should sleep in, crawl out of bed, have a late breakfast, and watch Maury Povich or whatever it is that's on TV nowadays. And I feel for you because I get it myself. It's so hard to be self-motivated. One of the simplest ways to make yourself or to keep yourself motivated is to remind yourself that if you own your own business, there's always something that needs to be done. Let me repeat that. If you own your own business, there's always something that needs to be done. Once you remind yourself of that, you're going to get out of your bed even on a day where you don't have necessarily 10 clients lined up, and you're going to go and make it happen. What can you do if you have a free day? Well, if I have a free day, which is rare, thankfully, but if I have a free day, I will make a YouTube video, do something like this. If I have a free couple of hours, I will send out cold calls. I will respond to email inquiries. If you own a studio, a physical studio, you know full well that the work there never ends. I had a client the other day, for instance, that she was running a little late. So I told her, okay, no problem, I'm here. I didn't have anyone scheduled after her, right after her, so I had a little bit of time after. So what I did in the half hour I was waiting for her to show up is I got out my ladder and my drill and I hung a bunch of work that I had framed recently. So there's always something to do. And I know it's tough to do this, but if you're working for yourself, you have to be your own worst critic. So be kind of a jerk of a boss to yourself when you have to be. Don't do this all the time because then you'll be miserable. Like for instance, if I take a real genuine day off, I'll shut my cell phone off and I'll be with my family and not thinking about work at all and decompressing. So that's important too. But I'm talking about during a day when you have free time, don't waste it. Don't watch 10 YouTube videos on how to tie your shoelaces or whatever. Make sure you're making the most of that time. The beauty of this is that those small pieces of time you have, say a half hour here, 20 minutes there, if you use that well, you will get so much done in a day that you're going to go home feeling accomplished, feeling good about yourself, and growing your business. So don't take it for granted and don't be lazy. And again, if I do this, There's 3 fingers pointing back at me. I totally understand. So I'm not being judgmental at all, but I know what it's like to own my own business and to feel just like doing nothing sometimes and waste an hour without even knowing it. It's highly important for you to be self-motivated. Remember, there's always something to do, and if you don't think there is something to do, think a little harder and you'll figure it out. Make the most out of your time. And then when you have a real day off, you'll enjoy it so much more because you won't feel guilty about it if you wasted half the week away sitting in front of your computer or scrolling on your phone. All right, so there you have it. That's tip number 6 through 10. This is part 2 of my 4-part series, 20 ways to grow your photo business. Hope you enjoyed it. Definitely leave me a comment. Make sure you subscribe, like, if you so desire, and let me know what you think of the video. And I will see you next time. Have a wonderful day with your camera. Go out and make some great photos and have a great day, everyone. Bye.